Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
President of the United States, Donald Trump, had a busy Monday. He spoke to Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the phone as well as Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan. Now, what does this really mean coming soon after the Modi government's big Kashmir move? What is the US trying to do and how will the Modi government respond to it? What is the strategy? That is what we are going to look at in Government Matters today with me, Ruhi Tawari. Noinima Basu is in the studio with us. Noinima, as I mentioned, we want to now look forward. We want to understand what these phone conversations were about and how India is going to, what India's strategy will be, how it will react going forward. So to begin with, we understand that Prime Minister Modi and US President Donald Trump had around a 30-minute phone conversation, which is fairly long. What is the US trying to do? What are they trying to understand from the Indian government?
So Ruhi, basically this is the first phone call that Prime Minister Modi and President Trump had post President Trump's statement on mediation that Prime Minister Modi had approached him and after the big Kashmir move. So they had lots to discuss about, and the fact that if you have seen the statement that Indian government has said that, you know, we also reiterated about a quick trade deal for, you know, for which our Commerce Minister will go there. So basically a lot of issues were discussed, but yes, the focus was on Kashmir.
So what was the specific trigger? I mean, is it India constantly talking about POK, which has got the US a little alarmed?
Yes, you are right. After what has happened in Kashmir, yes, US has said that it is their internal matter between India and Pakistan, and also India will do what it wants to do. However, they've spoken to both leaders that exercise restraint, and US is not really keen to see India talking too much about POK and, you know, other things like Aksai Chin and all, because Indian government itself has said that there will be no changes as far as line of control, line of actual control and international border is concerned. And that is something America just wants to ensure that there's no change in that.
Right. Now, at the UNSC meet last week, the closed door meet, US resolutely supported India. From what we understand, it stood behind India. It said that, you know, it should not be taken up in a formal meet of the UNSC. Coming soon after that, the President of the US speaking both to Prime Minister Modi as well as to the Pakistani Prime Minister, how is the Indian government interpreting it?
Well, for Indian government, it was clear that any day President Trump would be speaking with Prime Minister Modi, and that is something Prime Minister also had been wanting, because he'll be soon visiting there for a big visit. It'll be a week-long visit in the US. So, and yes, President Trump had been calling both leaders, both Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Khan, trying to understand the situation and again not to go in and not to escalate the tensions between them, because the tensions are high. We have seen downgrading of diplomatic ties and other issues. So US just wants to ensure that, you know, it doesn't go and cross the next level, so to speak.
So what is now that this conversation has happened, what is the Indian government planning in terms of its strategy going forward? Will it lower its rhetoric on POK? Will it continue with the way it has?
That will be a little difficult to analyze, Ruhi, but we've seen that Prime Minister Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah, our Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, they have clearly spoken about the fact that the next issue that they'll speak with Pakistan, I mean not Prime Minister Modi, but yes, his cabinet has said will be on POK. That is something that every Indian government has spoken about. This government is going a little aggressive on that yes, POK is on our agenda next. So going by that, maybe, you know, if you are saying whether that will decrease or not, that rhetoric, that time will only tell, but US will definitely ensure that, you know, India doesn't move to that far.
Right. Now, just to understand, Noinima, from a layperson's point of view, India and US have had a fairly tense relationship over trade issues, tariff wars, etc. With this, would India be, eager to not sort of add to that tension? Would it want to listen to the United States a little bit?
Yes, in a way you can say that President Trump, being President Trump, he'll definitely try to use it as a bargaining chip, because for him trade remains, of utmost importance. We need to also analyze in here that China and US, I mean, US is not able to, get much room with China. The deal is not happening. So their next focus is now on India. They need to have the market access for their agricultural products, medical devices. So as far as US is sort of supporting India on a multilateral platform, they would definitely want something in trade to happen, which is why our Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal is expected to meet the USTR, the US Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer, in a few days, a few weeks from now. And that's when the big trade deal will probably be announced and we will get to know. But then, yes, for America, that's the topmost focus.
But what kind of back-channel talks are on between India and the US at this point, given the Kashmir issue?
So as far as back-channel talks are concerned, yes, it is going on with regards to Kashmir, but also to a very big extent as far as trade is concerned. With India, they really now want India to move on trade because President Trump has to show before the presidential elections next year that he has gotten a deal, at least out of India, if not China.
Now, very quickly, just before closing, in September, Prime Minister Modi and President Trump will meet at the UNGA. The Pakistani Prime Minister will also be there. What can we expect?
Prime Minister Modi will be having a big bilateral with President Trump, but even before that, he will be sort of, coming face to face during the G7 summit also that's going to happen in the couple of days from now. So yeah, I mean, in the UNGA, Kashmir will be huge. I mean, even for a layman, it is simple to understand that Pakistan anyway had been taking it up every year on the UNGA meeting. This year, they will definitely, escalate it further. And India would again reiterate the same thing, that this is an internal matter. We had to do what we had to do, what India had to do. So India will again explain, like our government has been doing it. So let's see what happens.
Well, that was Noinema decoding the phone conversation between US President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Modi and explaining what it means, the implications for the two countries going forward. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a lot more to offer. Thank you for watching Government Matters.